Edit. Thank you to everyone for their kind and supportive words. Allow me to explain so no one thinks I am discriminating. I answered an ad online for a personal assistant that would help with filing and small errands. When the lady in question called me, she explained she had several problems, but I thought since I was just helping her with paperwork, they would not be a problem. I met her Wednesday for my first day. She is wheelchair-bound. She sprayed me with hand sanitizer right away, asking me to wear sleeves on my shoes and don't touch anything. I was really confused because how could help her with paperwork if I couldn't touch anything? Then she said that my first job was to do her laundry, help her with her hair, mop the floors, then take her to the doctor. Now I am really confused because she mentioned none of this in the phone call. Long story short, I drove her to 2 different doctors, the DMV, the food store, and several other places. Wasted half a tank of gas. I told her that I could only work until 6 or 7. Well, at 6:30, I was still waiting for her at the last doctor. I told her that I needed to go home, but she asked if my husband could make dinner for him and my son, so I could continue to help her. I finally got out of there at 8 p.m., and I was exhausted and furious. I felt used. I did everything she asked me to because I wanted to help her, but she took advantage of me. I am currently seeing a physical therapist for an injury, and she asked me to reschedule all my appointments to accommodate her. I said no. To make matters worse, she wants me to drive 10 miles under the speed limit. She reached over to honk the horn if a car drove beside us, which I told her not to touch the wheel of my car, and wants me to roll through stop signs instead of stopping. I have never felt so uncomfortable in my life. Then today, after telling her in text that I could no longer work for her, she begged to rethink my choice and tried to guilt me into working for her today. When I continued to tell her no, she turned aggressive and argumentative. In total, I think she sent me 10 to 12 messages, and all of them calling me all kinds of names, telling me I was a liar and a cruel person. She has since changed her Craigslist job posts, and she accused me of everything under the sun. The reason why I feel terrible is because she told me she goes to the church for food when she doesn't have money to buy food, and that her money goes to doctors. Her apartment is basically empty except for a couch, a bed, and a few other things. I wanted to help someone in need, but I feel so used and angry for allowing someone like her to get to me. Am I the idiot? Edit. In my text to her on why I couldn't work for her, I told her the reasons why, and she continued to try to guilt me, then accused me of being a terrible person. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. She baited you. To ask to reschedule your appointments is ridiculous. I'm assuming she couldn't find help any other way with her ad, but to not explain clear expectations definitely makes her the AH. My late husband's mother was the same way. Never bothered to help us out at all, even babysitting. But when she ended up half paralyzed, she expected everyone to change everything for her. Nope. I sympathize with her struggle, but you can't be all take and no give. Comment 2. Not the idiot. You lasted way longer than I would have. As soon as she said laundry, I would have bailed. You're a freaking saint for lasting a whole day. Comment 3. Not the idiot. She wants me to drive 10 miles under the speed hash. Oh, hell no. I mean, this was all pretty bad, but this is just making me shake with rage. Now, for the next story. I, 23-year-old female, live with 2 people, both women in their 20s, and part of my job involves driving around and traveling. Never international, yet at least, and it isn't glamorous. I stay at cheap motels. So, let's be clear. The air fryer is mine. I bought it fully with my own money. There are other things in the apartment, like my roommate bought a blender, and my other roommate bought a coffee machine and toaster oven, etc. I don't mind if others use the air fryer as it just sits on the counter. Because it is mine, if I am home and someone wants to use it, they will ask me first because I might be wanting to make something soon. And it is the same with other people's appliances. We all ask. The only communal item is the oven, stove, and microwave. In the last year, I have been traveling a lot more, and to save money on food expenses, I bring the air fryer with me. I also like eating healthy and don't want to eat out often. So with the money work gives me for food expenses, I just buy raw meat and vegetables and store them in a cooler in the car if I am on the road. And when I am lodging somewhere, I put them in the fridge. When the time comes, I'll just plug in my air fryer and season them up and toss them inside. I also have a small rice cooker and will do that as well. My one roommate doesn't really care, but this pisses off my other roommate. The first time it happened, she blew up my phone. She said she had food cut and ready to be air fried but couldn't do it. She was pissed when I got back and said that I can't just take appliances. I told her that it is my appliance and I can do as I please. I told her, and this is where I could be an idiot, that I wouldn't throw a witch fit if you took the blender with you. She said that she uses the air fryer for most of her meals and meal prep. I said, use the oven or stove when I am gone. She said she uses it to reheat her food, and that the microwave just isn't as good. I don't think any of this is my problem. If it is really that important to her, I feel like she could just pick up an air fryer herself. I told her this, and she said they are too expensive, which they aren't, but I just said it isn't my problem. Recently, I was on the road for a whole month, and I did a lot of cooking, to the point where I saved money and was able to just do fun things with that extra money. And stuff like this has happened before. She's taken her blender places, and our other roommate took her coffee machine when she was staying somewhere else. I don't see why this is my problem. Maybe I could be partially the idiot for not warning her the first time, but it is mine, so I just don't see the point. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Your roommate is talking nonsense. You have every right to take your air fryer and use it. She shouldn't plan her entire diet around someone else's stuff, and if the air fryer is essential to her life, she buys her own. If I were you, I wouldn't lend it to her when I get back because she feels entitled to use it. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Your personal property. Your choice to take it traveling to exotic locations. As many others have mentioned, if the roommate is so dependent upon the appliance, she probably would be well served to invest in her own. Comment 3. Not the idiot. It's yours and you can do what you want with it. Also, an air fryer isn't *that* different from an oven, especially if your oven has a convection setting. Basically the same thing. She can manage for a few days. Now, for the next story. My husband and I have an allowance system that prevents a lot of arguments about incidental spending. Both of our salaries go into a joint account for all bills, investments, and agreed-upon purchases. The allowance is a smaller amount, $50, $100 per week, but always equal for each of us. That gets moved to separate accounts for each of us, with the understanding that we can spend this money on whatever, no permission needed. Usually it's spent on individual hobbies, splurges. This works well for us. Today, I was looking through my husband's credit card bill that I had used recently, with his permission, to make some travel arrangements. We don't keep any secret bills. This credit card is auto-paid from our joint account. I saw a $73 charge to YouTube and asked him about it. He said he didn't remember buying anything, so I dug further. Turns out he had subscribed to YouTube TV last December to watch a football game on a road trip and forgot about it. I had no idea because this was his YouTube account, his email notifications, his credit card. The total charges added up to about $675. I admit I was annoyed and made some short comments. You should always set a reminder to cancel these things. If you are responsible about checking your emails, this might not have happened. There is a history of him being irresponsible with bills and missing important emails. I manage almost all the finances. We're in good shape, but I hate the idea of waste. We weren't even utilizing that expensive subscription. He paid that money to watch one thing 10 months ago. I told him that, to be fair, he'd have to pay the $675 out of his fun money. He had more than enough in there because he was saving for a bigger hobby purchase. I canceled the YT subscription on his phone, then used the banking app on my phone to move the money from his allowance account back to the joint account. I probably should have asked him to move the money himself, but I was upset. I felt more calm after doing the dollar transfer because to me the matter was then settled. He got irritated and said he shouldn't have to pay out of his allowance for a simple mistake. I said, everyone has to pay for their mistakes. That's how life works. Maybe I was harsh, but the wasted money was all on him. I don't see any better way to resolve it. He pointed out that we are doing fine financially. We are fortunate that $675 out of the joint account won't affect our budgeting for the month, but it will make a big difference to his saving for his hobbies as it is close to 2 months' allowance. It was the principle of the matter to me. I'm very careful with money. No matter how well we do financially, I'll always look for good deals and avoid profligate spending. So, am I the idiot for moving my husband's fun allowance money to pay for a mistake he made? Edit. I appreciate the responses, as reading the objective viewpoints helped me realize I behaved badly, more punitive than fair. Marriage is a partnership, not a balance sheet, and honest mistakes happen. I reacted out of irritation about the money without thinking about the bigger picture. I called my husband and apologized. He said he didn't blame me for being irritated, as he was irritated about the money too, but he appreciated the apology. He said we could talk later about moving the money back or not. Thanks again, and feel free to keep weighing in with comments. I feel like healthy debate is the best part of Am I the Idiot? Now, for the next story. I, 28-year-old female, was getting married, and I wanted everything to be perfect. So I had some rules. One of the important rules was not bringing kids to my wedding for various reasons. They could destroy the decorations, and what would I even do if they got hurt? When I told my family and guests about this rule, they all seemed to understand, except for my cousin, 30-year-old female. She said I was being rude, and that this was a way for me to not make her come to the wedding, because I knew how clingy her kids are. Her kids are 3 and 4 years old. I simply told her no. I want my family to be there, but no kids. She still made a fuss out of it and asked me why I didn't book a kids area. A kids area was out of our budget, so it was definitely a no. I told her if she can't come, it's okay, I understand. The wedding day came, and I didn't expect her to come, but she did, and she came with her 2 kids. I immediately rushed her out of my wedding and told her I wasn't going to take this kind of disrespect. This made a whole scene, delaying my wedding for 15 minutes because a 30-year-old woman who couldn't follow simple rules. Some of my family thinks I'm an A***** hole, but some think I did the right thing. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. This is why weddings should have some security. You shouldn't have had to do that. The wedding planner, a bouncer, or someone else should have been positioned to kick people out who cannot follow the rules. This includes people who bring kids to kid-free weddings, uninvited guests, people who start fights, people who try to upstage the couple with their own unapproved announcements and other wackadoodles. Comment 2. Not the idiot. I mean, I get the frustration of not being able to come to an important family event because of having kids, but you're totally entitled to have a no-kids rule if that's what you choose. Purposely bringing kids after clarifying the no-kids rule is ridiculous, and while obviously it caused additional drama, you were totally within your rights to ask them to leave. Comment 3. No one has the ability to contradict your wedding's rules. You told her that you understood if she couldn't come, but she still did and still undermined your rules as a guest. The rules that were told to her most likely multiple times. Not the idiot. Now, for the next story. I have twins that are 19 years old. One speeds darts through traffic in her small car. She drives other people's cars and lets them drive hers. This has gone on for a while. She has had 2 small accidents, but those were not her fault. I have asked her to drive more responsibly and never swap cars with people. It keeps happening. She also has a lot of parking tickets she always says are not her fault. The other twin has 1 reported at fault wreck and a couple unreported fender benders, an 80+ mph speeding ticket she hid from me recently. She drives other people's cars and argues with me that it's a necessity. We have seen open alcohol containers in her vehicle as well. We have another teen driver on our policy, and we will be adding another in 5 months. I was informed by the insurance company that with all these things going on, there are only 3 companies in the state that will insure us currently, and if anything else happens, none of them will. Our rates are insanely high as is. When the twins left town for college, they continued these behaviors. One got a speeding ticket the day she moved out. We were moving her into the dorm that day, and she didn't tell us. The other didn't even try to hide that she lets her boyfriend drive her car 3 hours to our house. With that, I decided to remove them from our family policy. I offered to help them find individual policies. They declined. They both work and have been paying for their respective policies since they were 16 years old with PT jobs, *****, editing to add, I should have shared more context that we have disciplined them regarding this from 16, 18. Although with the behaviors continued, I agree with everyone that we were not harsh enough. We will likely do a contract with rules of consequences outlined with our younger kids, so it's crystal clear what will happen if they break the rules. Also, their vehicles do not belong to me now. The cars are in my daughter's names. Now here are the comments. Comment 1. Dude, You are an AH for allowing this to continue until they were 19. You should have pulled their licenses when they were 17 and screwing around while driving. Driving is a privilege, not a right. Pull them from your insurance, revoke access to your cars, and tell them the only thing you will do is pay for a defensive driver class for both of them. And hold to that. Do not let them drive your cars. Pull them as drivers off your insurance and run a much tighter ship with your younger two. Insist they do full driver's education, the class, the driving instruction, etc. It will be far cheaper in the long run than all the damage your older two have caused. Comment 2. Sorry to pile on what you already know, but your twins are menaces on the road. I would love to know the creative explanation, though, that how a parking ticket can be someone else's fault. Gotta be a fun story there. Not the idiot. Comment 3. Not the idiot. They are adults and are not behaving responsibly in their driving habits. That has consequences they need to face. Paying their own insurance is a good way for them to see what their bad habits are costing them. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.